Hi, Louis the cat. How are you guys? Hi, Louis the cat. How are you guys? Hello. Hi, everyone. How are you guys? Tell me what's your favorite season. Wait, can you guys hear me? Good morning, everyone. Yeah, good morning. Okay, yeah. I think I have set up everything. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Everyone is saying good morning. Yeah, because you guys know that it's my morning time, right? But what's time? What time at your place? Should I say good afternoon or good evening to you? So happy to see all of you in here today. What's the weather like at your place? 恭喜发财. You remember that, right? Fantastic, my friend. Fantastic. Fantastic that you remember. Yesterday, I taught you guys to say 恭喜发财, which is something that when you come to China, you should definitely say to the Chinese people, because all the other foreigners can only say hello, nice to meet you in Chinese, 谢谢. But you can say 恭喜发财, that makes you feel like so much more different than others. Okay. All right. Very, very sunny. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gonna take it easy today. Okay. Yeah. Also, time to make the chair taller. Yeah. That looks nice, right? Yeah. Okay. Rain and cold. Yeah. That is the kind of weather that I hate most. I don't really like rainy days. I like of all the seasons, like I like summer best, and I like definitely like sunny days. And after I told you guys that I did this. Okay. And after I told you guys about my 八字, right, the kind of five elements in my life, right, depending on the kind of the date I was born, everyone was determined, the predetermined, the moment everyone was born, that the kind of proportion of the five elements in their body are predetermined. So for example, for me, I am abundant in fire, so that's why, like, later realized, oh, that's the reason why I really like summer, I really like sunny days, and I really hate rainy days, winter, because like winter is for water and rainy day is also for water, right? So like these are not the kind of things I like. Yeah. What's your favorite weather, my friend? Can you guys tell me, like, what's your favorite weather? And nice weather here. So jealous. And you, nice teacher. Thank you, Nico. Which part of China are you in? I'm in Shanghai, my friend. Is this sponsored by a company? You're so helpful. Thank you, G Talk. It's not. It's just pure out of my own interest doing a live stream. But eventually, I will think of ways to monetize the account for sure. So and as usual, my friends, 早上好，头像不错，谢谢. Have you guys followed me? If you haven't done so, definitely follow me, okay? Just so you guys know, this live chat is all about China. Well, actually, it's not only about China. It can be about so many other things. However, usually that we will start by discussing anything about China, okay? So it's not very common to see someone who can speak very good English like me and also know a lot about China, about history, about like so many other things, okay? So if you have any questions about China you would like to discuss with me, discuss with the rest of the people in the live chat room, definitely send it in inside the comment. Okay, inside the comment area, and we will discuss about it. Okay, we will discuss about it. Okay, just like on this paper fan, anything about China. Okay, so we will first start from discussing about China and also like see if you guys have any questions. I'm gonna answer those questions. Okay, of course, along the way, we'll just see what the other interesting topics what we can discuss, and then we can start from there as well. Yeah, 你穿白色衣服很好看，谢谢 Thank you, 侯德柱. Yeah, I also like white. Like many people say that I look good in white. Yeah, so like when it comes clothes, that I really like wearing white clothes, but the problem is that I always just whenever I eat, I just leave some stain on the clothes. That is hard to deal with. Yeah. So I usually wear lots of black clothes, even though I look definitely better wearing white. It's just that it's hard to maintain a white shirt that is always white. Yeah. So someone is asking, what is your social score? So, the thing is that I have actually answered that repeatedly for so many times in the live stream that we don't have such thing. Okay. But there are so many people out there. The world has so much population. So for sure, like no matter how many times have I explained and how many days have I been done doing lives, I'm pretty sure there'll just be people out there like who would just keep on asking me this question, like whether we have social scores. But the quick answer to that is we don't have such thing. Okay. Almost like many of almost all of my friends, after hearing that the foreigners think we have this kind of social score thing, that people get punished for doing wrong things and get awarded for doing the right thing. And the scores really basically just decide whether you're going to be sent to jail or not. All of us just laughed. We find it to be particularly ridiculous. Okay, so we don't have such thing. Never ever existed. It's just a way that your media and your country manipulate you guys. Okay, yeah. So many Americans come into, since the red note is become like easily accessible and also so popular to the foreigners. Many people come in and discuss and talk to people like myself, Chinese, native Chinese, right? Directly face to face, and discover that many things they know about China, or they were told about China, were absolutely not right. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. So how do criminals get banned from traveling? Um, so how do criminals get banned from traveling? So, well, first of all, I'm not an expert. As a disclaimer, okay, I'm not an expert, but I can, judging from my knowledge, limited knowledge on that. First of all, like we have actually mentioned about it. Like in China, you have CCTVs everywhere, right? We have CCTVs everywhere. So that's why this country is so safe. Okay. You literally just walk on the street of our top tier city where there are the most people, right? One city here in Shanghai, I have said multiple times, have 25 million people. And you wouldn't worry to just leave your stuff on, for example, on a bike and go to a shop to buy something and come back, because people just don't take away. There are multiple times I forgot my umbrella on, or my bag on the bike, and somehow like when I return after I purchase something, like still there. So it's very safe. Okay. So like because of the CCTVs, all the cameras, like criminals, if they travel abroad, etc., then like they're easily caught, right? So yeah, so that's like one way. And also, in order to book a flight or book a train, you'll have to definitely use your ID, right? You definitely use your ID to buy a train ticket. So like if your ID in our police station is registered the person as a criminal, then the moment you want to buy something using your ID, then for sure the police would know that you want to travel, and for sure they will just ban you from doing that, right? So I think that makes sense, right? So there might be some more advanced ways. So it's nothing to do with social scores. It's all about like what I said makes sense, right, my friend? Makes sense, right? Does it make sense? Well, it makes sense then, so we don't need to rely on this thing called social scores to manage our people, right? Is this live? Yeah, it is live. So my friend called Max, right? So first of all, welcome. And then if you guys have any question about China, just send it in. Okay, just like on this paper fan. Okay, anything about China, we're just gonna start from any question about China. And along the way, we're just gonna go with the flow and see what are the topics that people find interesting, and we're just gonna keep on talking about it. Okay? Yeah, thank you for explaining. No problem at all. And guys, follow me, please. Okay, follow me, please, if you haven't done so. And also on Red Note, you guys see there is a group that you guys can join. So definitely join this group. if you find this live stream to be interesting and you want to talk to more people in there, yeah. And our media does not tell us about social credit or heard from a friend. I'm pretty sure your friend is not a Chinese, right, George? Yeah, if your friend is Chinese, then because I heard that USA and also Germany seems to be the two countries that were most that most broadcast the thing that China had like this kind of social scores, somehow a general feeling. Okay, but we don't have that at all. How do you feel about America after studying America? Well, just so you know, I only did an exchange program in the US, and which is like so many years ago back then in my university years, my undergrad years. I only did a 3 months of study there, and well, I actually shared my kind of feeling. Definitely experienced culture shock because that was my first time to the US, and I was very shocked and very amazed by how eloquent the American students are. Like everyone never afraid of just raising their hands and express their views, but at the same time I also feel like they're overly eloquent because many of the people just raise their hands and express their views for the sake of just talking, and many of the things they say and they share, when you listen very carefully, doesn't really make a lot of sense and basically are just wasting everyone's time. So it's a mix. Okay, yeah. Wow, your accent is so Western. Yeah, I know. Yeah, marry me, my friend. I am already married, so according to the law it would be illegal for me to marry you as well. Yeah, there is capital punishment, same as US. What were you talking about? What's the best websites to order from China in Europe? There are lots of websites you can order from China in Europe. I'm not so sure like if Temu is available in Europe. And also you guys must know like TikTok also have TikTok shops. So these may also be a great place to start your e-commerce journey. And also people may know that I'm also starting my own website. Okay, so people, you don't know that what I'm doing, what I do. Okay, so basically I'm an entrepreneur. Okay, I am not a full-time host. I am an entrepreneur myself, having like several like startup projects I'm running myself, and one of the recent projects is cross-border e-commerce. So I do have my own website under preparation, which will be launched soon. So once that is launched, I will definitely tell you guys, and then you guys can also shop on that website. So we will first start from accessory because that's my own passion. I'm very good at selecting, and when whatever like accessories I wear, like people are fascinated about the kind of accessories that I'm wearing. So I'm gonna start from there. Okay, so we'll just make one product, one type of products to be running. And afterwards, we can definitely expand to many other industries as well. Okay, so many people told me that you're very interested in kitchen stuff. We can definitely expand to that area as well, right? And also 3C products, right? Electric kind of appliances, like we can definitely expand on that side as well. Because inside my team, there is a business partner who is super experienced in sourcing products in China. So we can definitely do a lot, okay? So I'm just going to start from the kind of place that I'm comfortable with. And afterwards, I'm going to expand to other areas as well, okay? So you guys watch me grow, okay? Be patient and watch me grow, okay? Watch me and my business grow, okay? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, how can I marry Muslim Chinese girl? Well, first of all, you have to get to know them, right? Get to know Muslim Chinese girl. So there is a big Muslim population here in China as well, just so you guys know, okay? So also it is in the kind of, not sure if it's in the law or in the regulations, like every university here in China must have a Muslim restaurant in it, so that all the Muslim students can eat there, because the kind of cuisine that they eat are quite different from like we do, right? We eat, right? So they can't eat pork, right? They can't eat pork, but for the rest of Chinese, pork is the major meat that we eat. So yeah, there are scholar hala, yeah, hala, yeah. It's called hala. We say it in Chinese, 清真餐厅。每所大学都会有专门的清真餐厅。Yeah, I thought Chinese had have more Christian than Muslim. I'm not so sure, my friend. I really never study the data, but we do have like both populations. And over the weekend, I was just having a walk after dinner, like with my husband, and we just randomly walk on the street and saw a church. And it's a church of like full of people, full of people. It's not like a big size church, but it's I wouldn't still not say it's like a very small chapel, right? It's just quite okay kind of size of church, and there are people full of it, full of people in it, and everyone is, singing the song, something like "Yeah, Lord, please save me," something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like whenever I get to those kind of environments, I just feel like my spirit was washed and I feel like really calm seeing them, even though I myself am not religious at all. Well, maybe Buddhism biased, but not practicing any religion at all. Okay? Yeah. And a foreigner can you live in China and travel to the US to work? That is very ambitious, my friend. You're so ambitious. Well, after I started the live stream, many people asked me like, can I come to China to work? Well, the thing is, you can definitely come to China to work as long as you are able to find a job opportunity in here, right? But when you say that you want to live in China and travel to the US to work, that is so ambitious. But do you know, actually, my friend, do you know Dragon Home Front? How long does it take to fly from the US to China or from China to the US? Do you know? So the shortest distance is actually flying from China to the West Coast, okay? East Coast is longer, okay? So flying directly from, for example, city of Shanghai to West Coast, which is like California, right? That would cost already at least, I think at least 11 hours, I think. At least 11 hours. And then if you're talking about like the East Coast, then it's gonna be like longer, definitely longer. So like travel to the US for what? Wait, unless you're saying that travel to the US for business trips. Otherwise, that if you're saying like daily work, then it's impossible. Okay. However, after saying that, there's one way of doing this there's one way of doing this, which is if you can find a job in the US that is like remotely working, then that would be terrific. Then you're gonna stay in China and enjoy extremely fantastically low kind of living cost in here, but earning a very high salary in the US. Yeah, somehow the inflation problem in the US is East Coast is 15 hours, right, Chris? Yeah, you're very experienced in that. 你好，我是非裔美国人，我代表所有美国黑人说，我们的看法与东京不同，它不代表美国黑人。Gotta lisp. So first of all, really appreciate a lot that you translate everything in Chinese for me to read. However, somehow I don't quite understand it after the translation. Can you actually translate it back to to English so that I can understand it? I have no problem understanding English, but I appreciate that you translate it into Chinese. Okay. Still somehow after translating into Chinese, I don't quite understand it. Maybe he translated back to English so I can understand. And I can tell you the right translation of the Chinese then. Yeah. Yeah, I heard about Pope died. Yeah. So it's not talked aloud in China, my friend. So, because just so you know, like 90% of the people here in China are not religious. And to be honest, I hate to say that. That sounds like very not respecting, but we don't care a lot about Pope. The thing is, I know he's a huge figure in the West, right? As a Chinese, I don't quite understand the Western world, the kind of power structure. Okay, power structure. Until I did understand a lot about the power structure in the West, right? Because in our Chinese system, emperor or our king is considered to be the ultimate power. How to say 权力最高的这个 let me see how should I elaborate it in Chinese? I don't even know how to say it in Chinese. 权力至高无上的拥有者. Okay, yeah. So our emperor, our king is like the ultimate power owner. Like he's able to rule everything. He's able to decide on everything, and everyone has to listen to the king, the emperor. So like as a Chinese, according to our history, like Chinese people, like for myself, I didn't really understand about the Western power system. In your history, somehow like the whole world, the Western world was ruled by two power system, right? One power system was the king, and the other power system was the church, right? So 我大清教主子，对对对对对 yeah. So we didn't quite understand. Well, at least I didn't quite understand. Okay, and also another very interesting thing is that in China, that in our ancient history that every emperor can have like so many wives. There is a saying that 后宫佳丽三千, which means that every emperor and China in our Asian dynasty can have 3,000 wives. So at the very beginning, I didn't really understand that why like one king in the West and in your Asian times could only have like one queen, and all the rest of the wives can only be treated as mistress, and their sons and daughters can only be called bastards. We couldn't, well, at least I couldn't really understand. Those are my friend. Yeah, Guangzhou. Yeah. Have you guys follow me, my friend? Yeah, like King Solomon. Yeah, friends, please tap the screen for Nytrix. Yeah, thank you, W. Yeah, guys, tap the screen to send in likes, okay? Tap the screen to send in likes, okay? Yeah, so, okay, the Pope is the head of one branch of Christianity, head of Catholic Church. Okay, interesting to know. So that's a part of knowledge I don't know a lot about. I study a little bit of Western history, and then I started to understand a bit about like the kind of, you know, kind of power balance between the king and the church. Somehow like nobody is able to be the one who rule everything, right? You always have to, you can have some power, but they also have some power. You have always to balance the two powers. Also somehow like the king had to seek the approval from the church in order to do something. So that's what I learned from the Western history, right? Still not an expert in that, right? However, I start to understand a little bit of that. Yeah. So do you know, believe in? So not really. Well, I wouldn't say that I don't believe in, my friend. Okay, I would say that I am not a your religion. I'm not practicing your religion. So I am myself. I'm not a, yeah. King Henry VIII is a good example. Exactly right. So I consider the history of about King Henry VIII to be like particularly interesting, like because all his wives are so famous, right? First is Mary, right? Queen Mary. Wait, is it? Well, no. Queen Catherine or Queen Mary. Wait, Queen Mary is his daughter, right? Wait, the first. Wait. What's the first queen? And the second queen is the what the what's the how to 柏林家女孩 how to say it in English? Berlin girl, right? And Berlin, and then it's yeah. Oh my god, I forgot all the names. Wait. Is it Henry the Eighth or Henry what? Yeah. Well, actually, I read about that part of history, but somehow I just forgot about everything. Mary was the oldest daughter, right? Mary was the oldest daughter, right? Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot. So I remember there was, I once read a book about the history about all the dynasties of Great Britain, right? And somehow I remember inside the book, they said like some of the kings, there's a king called Richard, right? King Richard, who was considered to be the got the nickname of like lion Lionheart or something, right? Anne Boleyn was his second wife. Yeah, right. Anne Boleyn, and also what's her sister's name? Anne Boleyn has a sister, right? Has a sister, so that sister slept with the king first, and then somehow like Anne was the second, sent by the family to accompany the king, something like that. Yeah, King Richard the first. Yeah. Oh my God, you guys are so, you guys are all like history nerd, like know so much about. No, so Elizabeth is the I remember is that Elizabeth is the daughter of Anne Boleyn, right? And then she somehow became the first queen, Mary Boleyn. So wait. So Anne Boleyn married. Wait, which one? Anne Boleyn married the king, right? But Anne Boleyn married the king, but Mary Boleyn did not marry the king, right? So Mary Boleyn was the first sent by the family to the king, and Anne Boleyn was sent second, right? And then Elizabeth, Queen Elizabeth was the is the daughter of Anne Boleyn, right? My friend, am I right? Yeah, Bloody Mary is the first daughter. Yeah, Bloody Mary is the first daughter. Yeah, 8 wives. Yeah, so after Anne Boleyn died, then it's another like lady something. Yeah, bring monarchy back. Yeah, white suits you. Oh, okay, thank you. So many people that says like I look good in white. Yeah, maybe I should just wear more white. Yeah, you're looking good today. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, I did a lot of research on history as it was in the past, so it is now in the present. Is now. Yeah, I completely agree with you. QPI quality products because like history always just repeat itself. So it's always fascinating to study the history and see like everything happened in the history just always repeat itself again and again. And that is how we are able to do fortune telling because basically what would happen in the world would just be the kind of thing that happened in the past. Yeah. Who was the last emperor of China? That emperor was called Pu Yi. Yeah, there are lots of interesting stories about him as well. Yeah, there was lots of interesting story about him as well. So he's the last emperor of China called Pu Yi, and he's a pretty pathetic figure in the history, right? So he became the emperor at a very, very small age, around which age, like 4 years old or 5 years old, like very, very small. Okay. So, and somehow he was treated as like a puppet, right? Because there were all the big figures, and he was like so, so young, right? So little. There's no way for like a baby to rule the entire world, right? So entire China, right? So he was basically just like a puppet. And to be honest, he was like a puppet for his entire life. And then like later on when China no longer was a monarchy country, and then later on like he was just become an ordinary person and living an ordinary life, and then until he passed away. So pretty pathetic. There is a very interesting movie in China, like a very famous movie. I think that is an Oscar award winning movie, and that was directed by a foreigner, which is called 末代皇帝. Not so sure about the exact translation of that movie, but it should mean like something like the last emperor. Okay, the last emperor. A very interesting movie for you guys to know about the last emperor's life in China. Okay, yeah, he had two wives. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I have a question. Is there any Hispanics in China? Yeah, for sure, definitely, my friend. Are you a Hispanic, my friend yourself? Yeah. Good morning, my beautiful Nytrix. Good morning, my beautiful No Talk. Yeah, thanks for coming here. Yeah, very interesting, right? And that's why you guys need to follow me. Yeah. Does the government filter news about the Pope? I don't think we filter the news about him. It's just that I don't get to see a lot of news around that. Yeah, I just don't get to see because that's not like something very, very well. I'm pretty sure like many Chinese people don't even know him at all. I'm pretty sure about that because he's not a well, no, you know, no offense, but he's definitely not a big figure here in China. I know he's definitely a huge figure and lots of people respect him a lot, but somehow he's not famous at all here in China. So like the fact about the news about him, like to be very honest, nobody here in China care about. Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, but for those of people who really respect him and look highly at him, I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Tony, you're right. I know he's a very famous person, a very famous figure. I'm pretty sure he also does lots of good to a lot of people. It's just that he's not that famous to in China. Yeah. So. Mhm. Yeah. So it is on the news. Yeah, it's definitely on the news. It's just that, well, like I said, 90% of the people here in China don't practice any religion. So that's why, you know, that's the thing. Yeah. I actually think Western civilization lies about China quite a lot, specifically America. You are very right about that. I never realized that until I started live streaming and was able to talk to so many Americans in here. And I realized that is so true that, you know, many people don't know about here at all. And the kind of country that we were depict was a very like poor country, a very lag behind country, and also a country that doesn't have any humanity at all, you know, something like that. But that is definitely not true. And also, like lots of people told me that when you were young and the education system you're in just told you that Chinese people treat you guys as enemy and Chinese people don't like you guys. Did you say that 90% of Chinese don't practice religion? Yes, I did, Tony. Yeah, I remember seeing that data. I remember seeing that data. So I think that is true. That at least like well, I've seen this data that said like 90%, but I don't remember the source. Okay, I don't remember the source of the data. So even if that data is not so accurate, you can also mark my words. You can still mark my words that majority of the Chinese people here don't have any don't really practice a religion. But having said that, Chinese people are very superstitious. Okay, majority of the people will still go to visit temple, will still go to. Oh my God, it's lagging here. I can tell it's lagging on TikTok. Wait, is it lagging on TikTok, my friend? Yeah, I hope it's not lagging. Yeah. So somehow, like Chinese people are very superstitious. We would still go to temple a lot and pray to Buddha and pray for me to have a son, have a daughter, pray that I can get to my ideal college, pray that I can earn money, pray that I can be healthy like at the beginning of the year. So for example, like for my family, okay, was lagging stop already. Great thing, fantastic. So from my family, even though like none of our families believe in any religion, but at the beginning of the year, we will still go to Jing'an Temple, which is one of the most famous temples here in Shanghai, and pray to the Buddha, and also just kneel down and 磕头. How do you say 磕头? Like do lots of those kind of traditions. Yeah, spiritual, not religious. Yeah, you're right. Spiritual, not religious. Yeah, so but like some people don't believe at all. Like for example, my husband, like he never does anything, even though he respected me going to the temple and pray to Buddhas, and still like he would never do that. He doesn't. Koto. It's called koto. Oh, okay. Wait, so koto is seriously in English called kowtow? Really? Oh my god, I don't know that. Okay. Wow, interesting. Okay, I thought the first one said that was like joking, but it's like really the English way. Oh yeah, so English way of saying koto is like kowtow. Okay, that is like the Cantonese way of saying it, right? 去静安寺当和尚需要什么学历？现在当和尚学历都很高的要求。So there was someone asking like, what's the requirement to be a monk in a I was almost saying like being a monk in a church, being a monk in a temple. Okay, so especially for those like very famous kind of temple, you really have to be like really strong education background in order to be a monk. I remember visiting, wait, which city is it? Hangzhou. And I remember there was also a very, wait, not Hangzhou, which city was that? So there's also a very quite famous kind of temple in the city I visited. Wait, not Hangzhou, definitely not Linsi, definitely not Lin temple. But I remember went to a temple also very, wait, in Chengdu. In Chengdu, I remember now. So what's the most famous temple in Chengdu, my friend? I forgot the name. There's a very famous temple in Chengdu. Yeah. So I remember went there and they were actually hiring monks. They were hiring monks. And I saw the criteria for hiring a monk to work inside the temple. And well, the requirement is definitely high. Okay, at least I am not eligible to apply for monk job as a monk to work inside the temple, right? So they have to, well, something said that you must have like a post grad degree in like what kind of schools in order to go there. Yeah, so well, definitely a very high criteria. Yeah. What's the most famous temple in Chengdu? Does anyone know? Hiring monks seems like a chill. 文殊, yeah, 文殊, yeah. You're right, Louis the Cat. Wow, oh my God, is there anything you don't know, Louis the Cat? You know everything. Oh my God. Whenever I have a question, you're always the first one to tell me the answer. Yeah, yeah, 文殊院，对对，文殊院，我记得，对，还有那个10倍密西西比，对对，我才看到你的答复。Yeah, yeah. I remember visiting Wenshu Yuan in Chengdu, and then they just told there was like a board that said that we are actually hiring monks. Well, it's not hiring. I would say there are more. It's more like recruiting. Okay, recruiting. I would say. Yeah. So like recruiting in a way, it's more like recruiting university students. So they also have their own university system. Like you have to study for 4 years in order to become what, and then what. Yeah, so something like that. Yeah, this community is so smart. I completely agree with you. Like I feel like my community people are so smart and I like it so much. Yeah. So guys, if you think you're smart, definitely follow me, okay? And join my community. And for people on Retinol, there is a group in here. So if you haven't joined any of my group, this is a new group that you could join, okay? Yeah, they know everything. Yeah. 文殊菩萨是掌管智慧的。哦哟，小金你真厉害，你咋啥都知道呢？ Yeah. They say that Wenshu Temple in Sichuan in Chengdu province. So the Wenshu Buddha is in charge of wisdom. Yeah. Not smart, but learning. Sure, guys. Yeah. What do people in China think of Switzerland? Wait, lots of people have well, you're not the first one to ask me that. Previously, there are people asking me about like how Chinese people think of Switzerland. So we think of Switzerland as a country with very good welfare system. And it is true because I've been to Switzerland and it's a beautiful, beautiful country. I've been to Geneva, been to Zurich, and been to all the mountains, right? That is very close to Zurich, right? And then had a hiking trip. It's beautiful, beautiful. Like a random photo shoot could just become my phone screen background wallpaper, and computer wallpaper, right? And also many things that I heard, like I have friends working in Switzerland and told me a lot of stories in there. And they told me that as a Swiss, you get to enjoy lots of the local welfare benefits. And also it's very, yeah, it's very green and rich. That's also our impression. So several impressions, okay, several of my impressions I can share with you. 今天听懂了70%左右，是因为熟悉这方面的单词左右嘛？Snow 加油，加油！马上你就可以听懂100%或者120了，将来你就可以开始教我英文了。Yeah, and guys, follow me, please, okay? Yeah, so I'm gonna share with you guys, okay? I went to Switzerland around 1.5 year ago, year ago, which is in 2023, I think. Yeah, 2023. Yeah. Okay, so several impressions I had. Okay, so first of all, a beautiful country, like I said, beautiful scenery. Okay, green and definitely rich. I can just see everywhere. Like Swiss people can just lie on the grass, enjoying the sunbathe, or enjoying a swim in the river when it's 3 p.m., 4 p.m. in the afternoon. Like you guys definitely gave me an impression that you are not hardworking at all. Swiss people are not hardworking at all. And yet they're still able to earn a pretty good living. Okay. So that's the first thing I had. And the second thing is that they don't have good food. That's a really bad thing. So, like, okay, no offense, but I discovered that the most famous cuisine in Switzerland is cheese fondue. And I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, you don't have any food at all. Well, like talking about cheese, there are so many ways of making food using cheese, right? Even though like I'm Chinese, but I do like many food that's cooked using cheese, right? Well, for example, Italian food use like heavy cheese, but you have like pizza, pasta, like so many things, right? However, somehow in Switzerland, like I don't see many good local Swiss food restaurant. It looks like they only have cheese fondue that is considered to be the best food, and I was oh, almost I was so disappointed back then. Yeah, because I'm a huge foodie, okay? So that's the second impression. And the third impression, I mean, misinformed, my friend. Really? You go to country and see some things and think that tells you the whole story? Really? So there are lots of nice food in Switzerland because many of my Chinese friends who's been in Switzerland for long also told me that they don't find lots of good food there, you know. Not true. Okay, so in Switzerland there are lots of good local food there. Okay, well, I didn't explore. I only, been to a very small area of Switzerland and only, see heard things from like my friends living in Switzerland, and according to my observation and according to all the restaurants I've been to, unfortunately I didn't get to see a lot of like good food there. Yeah, I had the best desserts in Switzerland. Oh, so if you're a huge fan of chocolate, yeah, they have fantastic chocolate. Okay, they have fantastic chocolate. Yeah, that's okay, that's the second thing. Yeah, so the third impression, I'm just basically sharing with you guys like my impression. Okay, so my impression can be wrong. Okay, my impression can be wrong, and I welcome you guys to correct my impression, okay? Because I've only been there once and spent like very few days there, so my impression can definitely be wrong, okay? Yeah, so that's the second impression. And third impression that I got, which is the knowledge I got from other people, you can eat local beef, very delicious. Yeah, so during my Europe trip back then, I firstly went to Austria, and I really like the pork chop, the pork chop, like very tasty, the fried pork chop in Austria, like very tasty. Then later I went to Spain, right? Oh, Spanish food, so good, so tasty. Okay, so Spanish food afterwards, I think which country? Then Switzerland. Yeah, so after having all those fantastic food in Austria, in Spain, and then when it comes to Switzerland, I was so disappointed, was not able to enjoy the food there. And also the third impression is very expensive. 你是中国人吗? Yeah, schnitzel. Yeah, exactly. Schnitzel. Yeah, I forgot about the name. It's schnitzel. Yeah, exactly. Schnitzel is pretty tasty. Yeah. 中国人呢，我在跟大家分享我对于瑞士，因为有朋友问对于瑞士的这个叫什么印象。Yeah, the third thing is like everything in Switzerland is so expensive. To be honest, like everything in the entire Europe, consider judging from a Chinese standard, is like so expensive, but Switzerland in particular. I remember going to Burger King and ordered just a burger, a Sprite, and fries, and that cost me almost well, in renminbi, that's almost 我记得是160，将近200块人民币，将近200块人民币，and that is how much US dollars? Wait, that's 200块的话是200块是多少？214，喂，200块钱啊，不行，我还是要算一下。我现在这个心算能力有点差。Chinese people are very good at maths, but with the help of phone, the calculator in the phone, we have lost all the ability. Well, at least I lost the ability of doing this in hard calculation. Yeah, 我记得是170块钱人民币折合成。Yeah, it's around 23 US dollars. Yeah, yeah, around 23 US dollars for just ordering a burger, a fries, and a Sprite. Yeah, and that is also like a package, right? Wait, what's the price of ordering the whole thing? 170块钱人民币折合成。Yeah, it's around. Yeah, I can tell it's lagging. 这个 lagging 怎么办？有点烦呐、这个 lagging again. Yeah, what happened today? Like it's so laggy. Yeah, I can see that it's lagging. 咋办呢？这个 TikTok 上面一直在 lagging. Yeah, I haven't been to a fast food place in like 10 years. I don't know how much. Really? You have never been to a fast food place for 10 years? Oh my God. Wait, so you're always cooking? Yeah, not lagging here, I know, but it's lagging on TikTok. Oh, somehow I have no idea. What should I do? It's lagging. There's nothing I can do because I'm currently doing it, having it on. What happens to my 好吧，我要不先关一下，然后。